I wanted to pull up, and I will admit I did not read through too many of these. So I will say I did look up this one judge, and she seemed all right as far as things go. But he made an appointment to the Oklahoma Supreme Court. Dana Kuhn, how you might say that. She actually doesn't seem like, in
Okay.
Googling her case history, didn't seem like she had anything particularly.
Well, I can't comment as to her being unethical. That's a low
Yeah.
fucking bar. That Kevin Stitt is below that apparently. I practice criminal law, right? So I
Keen.
read a lot of these cases. She, and to my mind, having practiced in Illinois and Oklahoma, she's not a very good judge. Um, she's better than, like, her opinions are better than, at least from a, okay, let me just say this, from a legal rigor and analysis standpoint, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals are just, I mean, of the cases that I read, they are some of the worst, most poorly written and reasoned cases. Like, let me give you the number one legal canon. All of this is bullshit. All of us have an agenda. We figure out where we're going and we write backwards. That's what the fuck we all do. So anybody says, "Oh,
Yeah.
like I'm using textualism or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck," it's lie. The only legal canon is this is bullshit. I have a decision. I'm going to write backwards from the decision I'm making, right?
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
every fucking court. The issue with the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals, including some of her opinions, is they're so fucking poorly legally structured and reasoned to walk back, right? Like, they clearly gonna, like, this cop done some horrible shit. It's clearly unconstitutional about Fourth Amendment. They're gonna find a way to, like, make it constitutional, right? They're gonna try to slip
Right.
that from that ilk of horrendous conservative judges that do that. But the way they write it back is that they'll just be like a huge gap in reasoning, or they'll just say, we once decided. Like, he's like, like, it's like they don't try to, at least with appropriate reasoning and legal leaks, justify their bullshit. And her opinions are included. So, I will say the guy who retired was a black man. So, we're including, there's a diversity concern there. Um,
Yeah.
but
And
yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
he might have been one of Brad Henry's. Brad Henry had a bunch because he'd been in there for two terms, and I think he got a bunch appointed. So, like, the Supreme Court in Oklahoma was pretty decent for a long time because of that, and because I think Brad Henry is an exceptional politician, and so he appoints people who are both ethical and smart and
so I can't
do good
comment
work.
on her ethical things. Thank gosh, I can't. Uh,
Yeah.
I try not to insult other lawyers' writing, reasoning, and all of that stuff. I'll just say, for my money, the majority of the opinions that come from the
Yeah.
Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals are lackluster, to say the least. Um, I'll
Yeah, the
leave it.
difference I noticed was she didn't have any like big red flags I could find, at least not find easily. And again, I Googled around a little bit, and I really appreciate your take on the legal reasoning side because that adds a lot of depth to this that I would not have had. But like, she didn't have any red flags like chair of a Republican Party somewhere, or like Federalist Society, stamped all over Wikipedia, or because like guys like Patrick Wyrick in the past, I mean, he is like comes from a family of like right wing political people, and had it was questionable whether he was registered to vote in the right districts and all. I mean, like there were all sorts of like red flags about like whether or not this guy should have gotten the nod, and like they're trying to position him to be like appointed eventually as a conservative to the U.S. Supreme Court. So I mean, he's like on a fast track to
And
you
let me
know
say this with my
whatever.
experiences as an attorney, and like, I went to the University of Chicago for law school, and it has the most. For my money, and I'm quite confident saying it has, like, it is the foundation. It was started there with Scalia of the Federal Society, right? We're comparatively, compared to other law schools, we would be conservative, and that means like 10% versus like 10% conservative versus like 3% in major law schools. So, like, by general metrics, we're really fucking liberal and progressivist, right?
Sure.
But by law school metrics, um, so having that experience, right, I can tell you, whenever you see FedSoc like papered all over, or these organizations, one primary issue, and this is just, like, I guess, like the legal elitist in me, those are the people who aren't very fucking smart, right? Like, it's all because it that when I see that shit, it's like you fast track through your connections, right? Um, I happen to believe and know that modern American conservatism is bullshit, right? But like, at least write intelligently about the bullshit. At least like
Yeah.
have well reasoned and structured opinions that that we can destroy with basic logic. But at least have them write well enough about the bullshit. Whenever you see like FedSoc or all of the American conservative what the fuck ever all on their resume, it's like these are connections and not actually being fucking smart. And I take huge issue with that because I'm of the ilk like I think judges have to be erudites, right or left, wherever you center, wherever the fuck you are. Like my expectations for judges are that you are an erudite, that you are very bright. You love the law. You love reading the law. And at bare minimum, I can get a rigorous legal analysis out of you, whether or not you agree with the motions, the decisions, or my written, briefs, whatever the case may be. I can anticipate like real, legal rigor and intellect. And for a lot of these judges, you just fucking can't.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to her, I don't put her. She ain't fucking Wild Bill Douglas or Brennan or Marshall. I'll say that.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
Well, let's blow through a few of these appointments real quick. So NonDoc has a great article here. Shout out to them. But Stitt moved around executive director of the Oklahoma Tax Commission to lead the efforts to deliver real ID driver's licenses to residents, which from everything I'm seeing is still a disaster. They've opened these mega centers. They have huge lines. People are showing up at 3 a.m. Complete train wreck. So I don't know what
Come
the
on,
state needs to do.
Kevin. Fix it.
Seriously, I know. It's like, I mean, you should be out there, like, putting the governor's staff, like, at tables, filling out. I mean, because it's like, it's literally just a process thing. Like, you just need more bodies to process the backlog. Like, it's just paperwork. Just fucking hire people and process the paperwork. Like,
Just take
Jesus.
a break from the dickhead conservative rage tweeting and complete some applications for us today.
Exactly. I mean, it's like there's just no excuse to be backlogged on driver's licenses. It's just utter incompetence and ridiculousness. So anyway, put someone over that. Stephen Harp, who is over OMES, which is like this whale of a state agency now that runs a lot of the tech and stuff. He's moving over to replace John Budd to be the state's new chief operating officer, because we gotta have all these C-suite people in there doing God knows what. Mostly just repeating the company line over and over, which is super awesome. But anyway, I remember hearing some stuff about that guy in the past. I can't remember. I think he's just one of Stitt's like business bro type appointments. Richard Smotherman joins the Pardon and Parole Board. This is kind of interesting because Smotherman was a DA for 16 years out in Potawatomi and Lincoln County. I'm having to dig way back in the memory banks to remember. I don't think he's real great. I mean, I think he's more of a good old boy, so it's like maybe he's reachable, like on a semi-human level compared to some DAs. But I'm not really sure how he got on there, because it said Stitt didn't appoint him. Was appointed by the Chief Justice of the Oklahoma Supreme Court. Anyway, Pardon and Parole Board is going to get real interesting here in the next few weeks because Julius Jones's case is going to come by there, which makes Smotherman's appointment either a good thing or a really bad thing. I mean, it's like a good thing in the sense that he was a district attorney and can call bullshit on some of the stuff, and like maybe he's wanting to maybe my memory is Smotherman might have like in the end wanted to find some Jesus about all the terrible stuff he did as a DA. Like that might have been it. Like as he was heading out the door, he was like, yeah, this didn't go the way I thought it was, and I need to make it up. I could be misremembering that, but I'm feeling like now, because I knew some people who had some connects with him. But anyway, this is kind of a big deal, and like we really need to watch this because there's about to be a bunch of shit that's going to hit the Pardon and Parole Board, and it's been very contentious. I think Judge Allen leaving is good because I think he was one of the like shitlords on there. But yeah, Pardon and Parole Board can be a force for a lot of good, or it can be a force for a lot of really not good. And so I'm not ultimately sure what this does, but it's good that NonDoc was covering it. I wish we had a little more depth on what Smotherman was about. But anyway. And then the rest of these, I don't know any of these people, but a couple people got appointed to the Board of Regents, Court of Civil Appeals, Anyway, you can read the article. Trisha Everest, she got appointed a while ago. I just saw something about her the other day. She's now the over the Department of Corrections, right? Is that it?
Isn't
Or
she more money?
do what?
Isn't she like super wealthy, like family money or some shit?
Yeah, Everest Gaylord is the connection there. So yeah, I mean the family that used to own the Oklahoman, she's either in it by blood or by marriage, something about that. But yeah, old Nichols Hills money for sure. But anyway, that happened a while ago. That's not recent news, and we talked about it when it was more fresh in everyone's memories. And then a new state regent, which non-doc covers a lot. I have not followed too closely, but really important because these folks can advocate for more stuff. But since they're appointed by the politicians that are in power, it often leads to a neutering of it. But like, obviously, we have a lot of really weird stuff going on right now between OSU and OU and like leaving the Big 12 and all that sort of stuff. It would be very interesting to do a deep dive on all the connects that these people have, because every single person gets appointed to a board of regents or whatever is often extremely connected. Like I'm looking at this one, and I didn't have time before the show to Google, but like Wormington sounds like somebody who's connected to somebody else. So anyway, very political positions, very powerful. Yeah, people should know more about all of that. But anyway, yeah, Stitt getting busy on all of that. As we find more, we'll try and do some deeper dives on that.